Hello everyone. So in today's lecture, we will understand about the support feature of support library. In the last lecture, we already learned about the how Android actually support the libraries and how it can be downloaded and all the things. So in today's lecture, we will understand about the what are the feature of this support library. So guys, let's understand the support library and its features. So this mainly in this lecture we will mainly describe the importance of features provided by the library in the Android support libraries. So we will understand about many of the feature described in this chapter. Okay, so let's understand first v4 support library. Okay, what is v4? V4 is a version 4 support library. So the v4 support library include the target set of API compared to the other libraries, including support for application components and interface feature. So accessibly data handling and network connectivity and programming utilities. So v4 support library mainly include these specific components like v4 compact library and compatibility wrappers and compatibility wrappers that actually a class that include the word compact. Okay, so for under the core framework API, next specific next component is a v4 core utility library, and it provide a number of utilities classes. Next component is a v4 core UI library, and it implements the variety of UI related components. Next component is a v4 media compact library, and it is a backport support. It is a backport position of the media framework and API 21. Next is a v4 fragment library, and it adds support for Android fragments. Okay. Next library is a v7 support library. This is also called a version 7 support library. So the version 7 support library include both compatibility library and additional features. So the v7 support library include all the version 4 support library, so you don't have to add these separately. So dependency on the version 7 support library is included in every new Android Studio project, and the new activity in the project extend from app compact activity. So the version 7 support library include these specific components, and these specific components. The first component is a v7 compact library. It mainly and support the activity bar using interface diagram pattern, and support for material design, user interface implementation. Okay. Next component is a version 7 card view library. So it mainly provide the card view classes and the view classes and a view that lets you show information inside card. So version 7 version 7 means v7. Next component is a version 7, that is v7 Gradle layout library. So it provide a card view classes and a view that lets you show information inside the card. Next component is a version 7, that is v7 grid layout library. So it include the grid layout class, which allow you to arrange user interface element using a grid of rectangular cell. Next is version 7 Medi router library. It provide a media router and related media classes that support library cast. And also version 7 plate library, it implement the plate classes which let you extract prominent colors from an image. So version 7 recycler view library, it provide a recycler view classes and a view of efficiently display large data set by providing a limited window of data item. Next is the version 7 preference library. It provides API to support preference object in app setting. Next is a um, next is the other library. Okay, other library. So version 8 version 8 uh, render script library. These are this is the other library, and this is known as version 8 render script library. It mainly adds support for the render script and a framework for running uh, computationally intensive task at a high performance. So next is a version 13 support library. It provides support for fragments with the fragment component class and additional fragment support classes. Next is a version 13 preference support library, and version 14 preference support library, and version 17 preference support library. This is mainly used for the TV. So it provides API to add support for preference interface or mobile device and TV. Next is a version 17 leanback library. It mainly provide API to support building user interface on a TV device, and annotation support library, and it annotation support library mainly it contain API to support adding annotation metadata to your apps. Also the next component is also a design support library. It mainly adds support for various material design components and parents such as navigation drawer and floating action button. Okay. So design support library, it mainly adds support for various material design component and patterns such as navigation drawer, floating action button, and snack bar, and also tabs. So next component for the other library is a custom tab support library. It mainly adds support for adding and managing custom tab in your app. Next one is a percent support library. It enable you to add and manage percentage based dimension on your in your app. Okay. Next component is a app re, app recommendation support library for TV. It provide a API to support adding content recommendation in your app running on a TV device. Okay. Next is setting up using the library support. Next is setting up and using the Android support library. So the Android support library package is a part of the Android SDK and available to download in Android SDK Manager. So to set up your project, to use any of the support library and use these steps. So first download the support library. Download the support library with the Android SDK Manager. For debugging, there are some more tools for debugging. So Android Studio and Android SDK include a number of other tools to help you find and correct issue in your code. So these tools include system log, tracing and logging, the Android debugging bridge, okay, Delvik debug monitor server, CPU and memory monitor, and screenshot and video capture. Okay. So what is system log, or a log cat? So as you have learned, uh, you can use the log class to send message to the Android system log, and view those messages in the Android Studio. So to write log message in your code, use the log classes, and log message help you understand the execution flow by collecting the system debug collecting the system debug output. So while you interact with your app, log message can tell you what part of your application filed. So for more information about logging, you can you can just read about the writing log. Okay, reading and writing log. So next one is tracing and logging. The next way is tracing and logging. So analyzing traces allow you to see how much time is spent in certain methods, and which one is taking the longest time. So to create the trace file, firstly include the debug class and call the start method tracing method. So in the call, you specify a base name for the trace file that the system generates. So to stop tracing, just call the stop method tracing, and these methods start and stop method tracing across the entire virtual machine. So for example, you could call start method tracing in an activity on create method, and you can also call stop method tracing in the activity on destroy method. Excuse me. So the Android debug bridge is command line tool that let you communicate with emulator instance or connected Android power device. Okay. Okay. Next one is Delvik monitor server. So the Delvik debug monitor server tools provide a port forwarding service and screen capture. So thread and heap information, locate process and radio state information, incoming call and system spoofing. So location data spoofing and more. Okay. So CPU and memory monitor. CPU and memory monitor, just Android Studio include the number of monitor to help you visualize the behavior and performance of your app. And the next one is a screenshot and video capturing. So these are some more tool for debugging. Next topic is trace logging and the Android trace login and Android manifest Android manifest. So there are a multiple type of debugging available to you beyond setting breakpoint and stepping through code. So we can also use we can also use logging and tracing to find issue with your code. So when you have a trace log file, um, you can load and you can load the log file in trace view. So these which display the log data in a two panel. First panel is timeline panel and second panel is profile panel. So timeline panel that describe when each thread and method started and stopped. And profile panel provide a summary of what happened inside a method. So likewise, we can set debuggable in the application tag of the Android manifest to true, which set whether or not the application can be debugged. So even when running on a device is a user is in user mode, by default this value is set to false. So you can configure build type in the module level build.gradle file. So inside the Android block, when you create a new module, Android Studio automatically create a debug and release build type for you. So although the debug build type doesn't appear in the build configuration file, so Android Studio configure it with debuggable true, so which allow you to debug the open or secure Android device, and configure apk singing with apk signing with the generic debug keyboard key store. So you can add the debug build type to your configuration if you want to add or change certain setting. So at these changes made for debugging must be removed from your code before release, because they can impact the execution and performance production code. So you can prepare your app for release. You must remove all the extra code in your source file and you wrote the testing purpose. So in addition to appearing the code itself, there are a few other testing you need to complete in order to get your app ready to publish. So these include removing and logging statement. Okay, these include actually removing and logging statement, remove any call to show toast, and disable debugging in the Android manifest by either removing Android colon debuggable attributes from application tag, or setting Android colon debuggable attribute to false. So remove all debug tracing call from your source code file, such as start method tracing and stop method tracing. So guys, next topic is testing our app. So even through you have an app that compile and run and look the way you want to on a different device. So you must make sure that your app will behave the same way you expect it on the every situation. So especially as your app as your app grow and changes. So even if you try to manually test your app every time, so you make a change, a tedious prospect are prospect at best. You might miss something or not anticipate what and not anticipate what end user might do with your app to cause it to fail. So write and running test is a critical part of software development process, because test driven development, that is TDD, is a popular software development philosophy that place test uh, at the core of all software development for the application or service. So this doesn't this doesn't negate the need on this doesn't negate the need for further testing. It merely gives you a solid baseline to work with. So testing your code can help you to catch issues early in development, so when they are the least expressive to address, and also improve the robustness of your code. So as your app get large and more complex with the test in your code, you can exercise a small portion of your app in in isolation, and in an automobile and a representable manner. So because the code you write to test your app doesn't end up in the production version of your app, so it leaves only on your development machine, so alongside your app code on Android Studio. So the point are, what are the types of tests are present. So Android support several different kind of test and testing frameworks. So to basic form of testing, Android support a local unit test and instrument test. So local unit test are tested that all com- tested that are compiled and run entirely on your local machine with the Java Virtual Machine, that is JVM. So use a local unit test to test the part of your app and that do not need access to the Android framework or Android device or emulator. So to those for which you can create a fake object that pretend to behave like a framework equivalence. Okay, framework equivalence. Next way is instrumented tested. Instrumented tested are tests that run on the Android device or emulator. So these tests have access to Android framework and instrumentation information such as context. So you can use instrument test for unit testing and user interface testing, or integration testing also. So making sure the component of your app interact correctly with other app or not. So most commonly you are instrumented you will use instrumented test for UI testing, and which allow you to test that your app behave correctly. So when the user interact with your app activity, or it enter a specific input. So for more forms of user interface testing, you can use Espresso framework, which allow you to write automated UI test, and also you will learn about instrument test and Espresso in further. Okay. So let's understand what is unit testing. So unit test should be a fundamental test in a app testing strategy, and by creating and running unit against your code, you can verify that the logic of individual function codes are on unit is correct. So running unit test after every build help you to catch and fix problem instructed by the code change to your app. The unit test generally exercise the function of smallest possible unit of code is representable way. So create a unit test when you need to verify the logic of a specific code in your app. So for example, if you are unit testing a class, so your test might check that the class is in the right state. For a method, you might test its behavior for a different value of its parameters. So that is especially sometimes null value is put on. So typically the unit of code is tested in isolation. So your test monitor change to that unit only. So mocking framework such as Mockito can be used to isolate your unit from its dependency. So you can also write your unit test for Android in a JUnit or a common unit testing framework for Java code. Next is the Android testing support library, and the Android testing support library. So the Android testing support library provide the infrastructure and API for testing Android apps. It include the support for JUnit, and with the testing support library, you can build and run test code for your app. So you may already have the Android testing support library installed in your Android Studio. So to check the Android support repository, follow these steps. Okay, follow these steps. So in Android Studio, just choose the tool button, and then click on the Android. And after clicking the Android, you will see a SDK manager. Just click on that, or then click the SDK tool tab, and look for the support repository. If necessary, just update or install the library. And Android testing support library classes and located under the Android support test package. So these are also older testing API in Android test. So you should use the support library first, and when given a choice between a support library and older APIs, as the support library help build and distribute test in the cleaner and the more reliable fashion than directly coding against the API itself. So setting up testing to prepare your project for testing in Android Studio, you need to first organize your test in the source set. Okay, and then configure your project Gradle dependency in your into the including test release API. Okay, so for setting up testing. So first we will, what we do, we first set the source set. Okay, we first organize the test, in a source set. So what is Android Studio source set? So source set are a collection of related code in your project that are for a different build target of other flavors of your app. So when Android Studio create your project, it create three source set for you. So the main source set for your app code and uh, the test source set for your app, and the locate unit test and the Android test source set. So the Android instrumented test and the source set appear in the Android view under the package name on your app. So the main source set include just the package name and the test and Android test source set the package name followed by test or Android test respectively. So these source set correspondence to folder in the src directory for the project. So for example, the file for the test source set are located in the src/test/java. Next step we have to next step then we have to configure Gradle for test dependency. So to use the unit test API, you need to configure the dependency on your project. The default Gradle build file on your project includes some of these dependency by default, but you may need to add more dependency for additional testing features such as matching or mocking framework. So in your apps, just top level build.gradle file specify these library as dependency. So note that the version number for these library may be changed. So if Android supports a newer library, just update the number to reflect the correct version. Okay, so guys, it is version is totally changeable. So as per your need, just change that version number. So after your dependency to your build.gradle file, you may have to synchronize your project to continue, and just click sync, that sync now in the Android Studio when prompted. After that, just configure the test runner, and test runner is a library or set of tools that actually enable testing to occur and the result to be printed to a log. So your Android project has access to basic JUnit test runner as a part of your JUnit APIs. So the Android test support library include the test runner for instrumented and espresso test. So Android JUnit runner, which also support JUnit 3 and JUnit 4. So in this lesson we only demonstrate the default runner for unit test. So to set Android JUnit runner as a default test runner in the Gradle project, so just add the following dependency on your build.gradle file. So there may already be dependency in the default configs session. So if you add the test instrumentation instrumentation on runner line to that section. So you can just write Android default config, and in which you just default config, and in which just write test instrumentation runner double quotes android.support.test.runner.android JUnit runner, and just close the brackets. So creating and running unit testing. So create your unit test as a generic Java file using a JUnit API, and store these tests in the test source set. So each Android Studio project template include this source set and a sample Java test file that call actually a example unit test, and create a new test class. To create a new test class file, just add a Java file to just add the Java file to the test source set to your project, and test class file for unit testing are typically named for the class in your app that you are testing, and that you are testing with a test appended. So for example, if you have the class called calculator in your app, the calculator on your app, the class for the unit test would be calculator test. So to add a new test class file, use these steps, like expand the Java folder and Java folder and the Java folder and folder for your app test source set. So the existing unit test class file are shown as a, and then after that just right click on the test source of the folder and just select the new button, and then click Java class. So name the file and then click OK. Write your test. So use JUnit 4 syntax and anno- uh, annotation to write your test. So for example, the test class show the below include the following annotation, like the @run with annotation indicate the test runner that should be used for test in the class. Next is the small test annotation that actually indicate that the small that indicate this is a small test, and also before annotation mark a method as being the setup for the test. Next annotation is a @test. This annotation marks the method as a actual test. So add to number method is the only actual test, and the key part of the unit test in the assertion. So which defined here by the assertion method. Assert that method, and assertion are expression that must evaluate and result in the value of true for the test to pass JUnit, and it provide a number of assertion method, but it assert that method is a most flexible, as it allowed to generate it allowed to generate purpose comparison method called matchers. So the So the Hemcrest framework is uh, commonly used for matchers, and Hemcrest include a large number of comparison method, as well as enabling you to write your own. So for more information on for more information on assertion, see the JUnit reference documentation for the assert class. So for more information on the Hemcrest framework, just see the you can just see that properly and check that what are the functions they provide. So note that the add two number method in the example include only one assertion, and the rule for unit test is to provide a separate test method for every individual assertion, and grouping more with the one assertion and the method. Okay, so guys, for a source set is a collection of related code in the project that are actually a different build target or the flavors of your app. So when Android Studio create the project, so it create three source set for you. And the main first is the main source set of your app code and resources, and then test resource set, and then Android test source set. So source set appear in the Android view under the package name of your app. The main source set include just the package name, and then the just test and Android test source. So the source set have the package name followed by or Android test respectively. So these sources corresponding to the folder in the SRC directory for your project. For example, the file for the test source set are located in the src/test/java. Now we have to configure the Gradle for test dependency. So to use the JUnit test API, you need to configure the dependency for your project. The default Gradle build file of your project includes some of these dependency by default. So, but you may need to add more dependency for additional testing features, such as matching or mocking framework. So if your app top level build.gradle file specify these library as a dependency, note that the version number of these library may have changed. So if Android Studio supports a newer library, update the number to reflect the current version. So after add these dependency to your Gradle build file, you may have to sync your project to continue, and just click on the sync now in the Android Studio when you complete. After that, you just configure the test runner. So for that, a test runner is a library or a set of tools that actually enable testing to occur, uh, and the result is to be printed to the log. So your Android project has access to a JUnit test runner as part of the JUnit API. So the Android test support library include a test runner for Instrumented and Espresso test, which is also supported by the JUnit 3 and 4. And this in this lesson, we only demonstrate the default runner for the unit test. So to set Android JUnit runner as the default test runner in your Gradle project, just add the following dependency to the build.gradle file, and these may already there may be already dependency in your default config section. So if you add the test instrumentation runner in runner line to that section. So guys, next you can learn this topic from the Android programming cookbook, and there are some more programming aspects are there for exercising. So guys, just learn from this book. After that, after learning this lesson, you will just do this exercise, in which the broadcast include the information about the about the battery state level, etc. So it just asks you in which the broadcast that include the information about the battery state. So there are four options. You can tell me the answer at which. Next question is this. Next question is this. How many size are supported by the Android? Next is how to pass the data between activities in Android. Next question. Next question. Next. Okay, guys. So this is all about for the today. Okay. So next testing types we will learn in the later class.